The current local market for fresh, locally produced, non-certified, non-regulated chicken eggs in Perryville, Kentucky, 2016 to 2021. My name is Devin Ann Gibson, and I conducted this analysis and wrote it. The eggs in this analysis have many characteristics that distinguish them from similar products. The eggs in this analysis are chicken eggs. However, they can be produced by various breeds, such as Black Giant, Araucana, Brahma, Leghorn, New Hampshire Red, Plymouth Rock, Rhode Island Red, and Sussex. These eggs are not certified to be organic or cage-free, and they are not inspected by the USDA. They are, however, less than 1 month old and produced within a 10-mile radius of Perryville, Kentucky. It is important to recognize each and every one of these characteristics to specify exactly what product are being analyzed in this report. One of the very specific characteristics of this analysis is that the eggs are locally produced within a 10-mile radius of Perryville, Kentucky. This is important because buying local is one of the main reasons the customers buy the eggs, which causes there to be a market. As you can see in this map, a 10-mile radius of Perryville reaches into many counties, including Boyle, Marion, Mercer, and Washington. This allows for a diverse consumer and producer category. This also allows for competition, which allows the equilibrium price and quantity to be correct. For many consumers, the idea of buying local is one of the key selling factors. However, sometimes they would like to see how and where the item that they are buying is being produced. This is one major benefit of having such a small marketing area. Typical producers in this market are producing eggs as a hobby or small side business. Most of them have other jobs that is their main source of income. They typically have between 10 and 50 chickens that produce eggs. Producers have a variety of chicken coops depending on their particular setup. Some producers simply have small coops in their backyard that resemble rabbit pens or small kennels. Others, like myself, shown in this picture, have chickens in a room off of the family barn. The startup costs can vary for the producers, also depending on the size of their production. This picture shows me and my family when we first started our chicken and egg production business. You can see my niece and my mother showing that this truly is a family operation. Consumers vary just as much, if not more, than the producers. Some would like to buy local eggs because they were raised with them. Others want to buy local to support the local economy. Some want to be healthier by eating locally raised eggs, where they can see what the chickens are exposed to, and some just prefer the local eggs because they believe that the chickens are happier. A select few of the customers simply prefer the taste of fresh eggs over those of store-bought eggs. Because there is such a variety of consumers, and it is very hard to picture what a typical consumer looks like, I have chosen not to add a picture of one of my customers. For this analysis, I used a dozen of eggs as a unit to reference on how many are being sold. I chose this unit because in most retail businesses, eggs are sold in 1 dozen. There are varieties, however, I sell my eggs in dozens, as do most of the other producers in the area. This graph shows the current equilibrium market price and quantity for this analysis. The current equilibrium quantity is 2,000 dozens per year. This is the average amount of dozens of eggs sold by producers in this market. The average price is $2.50 per dozen. This is the average price per dozen for eggs sold by producers in this market last year. While this graph shows the equilibrium price and quantity, There are many factors that can shift this graph and the equilibrium amount. Next, I will go into 6 of these different supply shifts and describe how each one will impact this market. The first shift I would like to discuss is a supply decrease due to a change in cost of production, specifically the price of chickens increasing. You see, hens only lay eggs for about 2 years, and they don't start laying until they are 6 months old. This means that producers must continuously cycle their hens in and out, with the price of chickens rising, this would cause producers to no longer to be able to buy the same amount of hens each year, which will in the end decrease the amount of eggs being produced. As you can see in this graph, you see the original supply and demand curve, and you see the yellow line is how the supply has shifted because of this change. This graph shows the change in supply when the supply increases due to food processing technology advances. Scientists are always advancing the knowledge of feeds and supplements, and if there is an advance made that increased the number of eggs a chicken could lay each day, it would drastically increase the supply in the eggs. This graph also shows a supply increase due to advances in caring for chickens. When the producers get more money accumulated from the sale of eggs, they will put more money into their business and care for their hens. This will cause production to increase even more, increasing supply. This graph shows the change of supply and demand when the customers begin raising their own eggs. Demand will decrease if and when customers raise their own eggs. There is a growing popularity of people wanting to raise their own food, and one of the easiest places to start is with chickens. This graph represents what will happen when the popularity of buying local increases. This will cause the demand of this market to increase as well. This shows the decrease in demand due to people being worried about the non-certification and non-regulation of this product. Each day there are more worries about the dangers of food being consumed. Without federal inspections and regulations, there is obviously more risk in the safety of the product. While the producers are not changing anything they are doing to harm the eggs being produced, the concerns will still rise. This will cause some customers to decide to no longer buy the non-regulated, non-certified eggs. This graph shows the total change in supply and demand for this market estimated over the next 5 years. I believe that the market for locally produced eggs in Perryville, Kentucky will overall decrease in the next 5 years. However, I predict that the market will stay operable for years to come because there will always be a demand for this product. This graph shows what the market will look like in 5 years as compared to now. Thank you.